Hauntology is a concept developed by the French philosopher Jacques Derrida. The term is a play on words, combining haunting and ontology, and it refers to the idea that the past can never truly be erased or forgotten. Instead, it haunts the present, shaping our perceptions of reality.
For God's sake, forget the past.
Why, how can I? The past is the present. It's the future too, isn't it?
Stanley Kubrick is possibly the filmmaker whose work is most often associated with the concept of hauntology. For instance, his film The Shining is concerned with ghosts and spectres, and it takes place in the Overlook Hotel, a location in which time seems to be folding in on itself.
What Kubrick gave us in The Shining is a movie about the past, not just any past. The past, I mean pastness. It's a movie about how the past impinges. That's what ghosts are.
Andrew Dominik has on several occasions cited the influence of Kubrick's Barry Lyndon, another hauntological work, which also uses a tableau vivant style to evoke a sense that we are looking upon traces of lives that have been halted in time. Barry Lyndon also employs a similarly dispassionate third-person voiceover from a narrator who speaks in the past tense and frequently mentions events that won't happen till later in the story, to create the sense that everything has already occurred and we are merely watching it being replayed.
Fate had determined that he should leave none of his race behind him, and that he should finish his life poor, lonely, and childless.
Some reviewers at the time of the Assassination of Jesse James's release criticised the film's voiceover for sometimes redundantly giving information that is already shown to us on screen.
They moved to 1017 Troost Avenue at night so that the neighborhood couldn't get a good look at them or their belongings.
Yet this only contributes further to the sense that we are viewing characters reenacting scripted events, powerless to change them. As with many of the revisionist westerns of previous decades, there's the melancholic feeling that we are witnessing characters from a bygone age that no longer have a place in this world. Yet their images, their personas, have become ghosts that still haunt us from beyond the grave.
Nothing clever nor courageous.
Early on in the film, we witness the blue-cut train robbery, which on paper might appear to be an action set piece, but it's slow, somber, almost funereal in its tone. The sequence starts with the bandits surrounded by darkness, lit by the warm orange glow of their lanterns. Jesse emerges from the forest. We can hear the sounds of the cicadas, the muffled chatter and singing of the gang echoing in the distance. The sound of Jesse's spur, clean and crisp. Then, as Jesse presses his ear to the tracks, one by one, the sounds are isolated, then fall away, as the rumble of the approaching train becomes audible. Jesse seems almost to be communing with something here. Both literally and metaphysically, he's aware of a presence the others are not. We see the vibrations of the train move the gravel on the track, like an invisible force, a poltergeist. Gradually, the noise of the train drowns out all other sounds. Jesse stares defiantly into the darkness. First, he looks into the abyss, then so do we, traveling past him into the black. The sound of the train, echoey and distorted, has a hypnotic quality. Rather than the exciting music you'd expect for a heist scene, we hear a dirge. The light of the train is pure, cold and white. It contrasts with the warmth of the lanterns. This feels like a modern, electric light. The clan masks of the robbers make them now seem like ghosts, with the twisted branches of the trees casting eerie shadows upon them. We see Jesse backlit by the train in perhaps the film's most iconic shot. Here he is at his most mythic. It feels as though his sheer will is what stops the train, rather than the lumber on the track. However, the steam still comes forward, engulfing him. The forces of modernity can't truly be stopped, and they bear Jesse ceaselessly towards annihilation.
Come
Once Jesse and the gang have entered the train and they are attempting to rob the safe, we see him take on a kind of playful sadism as he toys with the guards.
You got anything good here? Could be.
Before switching to a more serious tone.
Open that safe.
Jesse always seems to be performing, often changing roles and acting styles on the fly.
Do it!
The violence in this scene has an awkward, unpleasant quality. We are denied empathy with the assailants due to their masks. Instead, we feel for the victim.
Get out!
We see both his fear and his bravery.
You're gonna have to make me.
All right.
When Jesse prepares to shoot the man, he pauses. His eyes seem to glaze over. The sounds are eerie and evocative. It's almost as if we are hearing ghostly echoes of the past.
Don't shoot him! Don't shoot him!
This will be the first of many times in the film where Jesse exhibits a sense of being caught in some kind of trance, detached from his own actions.
I go on journeys out of my body, and I wonder about that man that's gone so wrong.
At several points in the film, Jesse expresses a shamanistic impulse towards animal sacrifice.
He read auguries in the snarled intestines of chickens, or the blow of cat hair released to the wind.
An obsession with prophecy.
On the morning of the 11th, he would wake his wife with the scripture pertaining to the Holy Family's flight into Egypt.
And a near supernatural ability to predict the future.
Overnight, the Thomas Howard clan vanished from Kansas City. Shortly thereafter, 4 of the Blue Cut train robbers were arrested in shacks near Glendale. How Jesse could have known remains a mystery.
He cuts the heads off snakes, and their bodies still writhe, even after death, as he examines them. It's as though he's staring directly into the hereafter. It's an image that speaks to how the departed still persist in this world. It often seems like Jesse is aware of forces at work the other characters are not. He alone intuits that they were all mere puppets of fate, their paths predetermined.
Yeoman's promised bad luck, which moted and dungeoned him.
After the Blue Cut robbery, we see the relationship between Robert and Jesse start to develop. For years, Robert has read stories about Jesse and imagined himself in his place. He views Jesse as an extension of himself, and wishes to somehow merge their identities and supplant the man he admires.
Getting each inflection, reading every gesture and tick, as if he wanted to compose a biography of the outlaw, or as if he were preparing an impersonation.
And so Jesse comes to perceive Ford as manifesting a physical, existential, and possibly even sexual threat.
Can't figure it out. You want to be like me? Or you want to be me?
This scene directly evokes Fuller's I Shot Jesse James, with both Fuller and Dominic using Jesse bathing to suggest his vulnerability and provoke temptation for Ford.
I ain't never seen you out your guns, neither.
Whilst hinting at a level of homoerotic tension between the two. After this, Ford will start to deliberately style himself after Jesse, buying a new suit. He even keeps his gun on a chair nearby as he bathes. It's as though he hopes that Jesse James, rather than being a person, is a set of gestures, clothing, and actions through which the outlaw's spirit can be evoked. His attempts at reforging his self-image are ruptured by his brother Charlie and by Jesse's cousin Wood Height, who have uncovered his trove of Jesse James memorabilia and mock him for it.
What's this? This ain't Jesse. What do you know? You don't know that? I never wore no mustache.
Wood is threatened by Robert's new intimacy with Jesse, and he wants to assert himself as his cousin's favorite.
Son, you better recollect who my cousin is, because you've seemed to misremembered that Jesse loves me like the good book.
Despite being played by grown men, all three characters are performed as though they are children.
I don't care. Why don't we make up and be pleasant?
For Robert, this humiliation seems to draw on deep wounds.
Like your nickel suit, cowboy.
His status as the youngest brother, the runt of the litter, the little boy who nobody takes seriously, troubles him immensely.
I was the baby. I was the one they made promises to that they never kept.
His nightly fantasies of being an outlaw are an escape from that. The words, "I'll show them," are always there, unspoken behind his eyes. His fixation on Jesse partly stems from the fact that Jesse too was the youngest brother.
You're the youngest of 3 James boys, and I'm the youngest of 5 Ford boys.
Within Jesse, there's the promise that someone like him might be a figure with status, who commands the respect and fear of other men. It's when Jesse rebuffs Robert's assertion that the two of them are alike, and starts to make fun of him like everyone else, that Ford's desire for Jesse's status as a legend curdles into hatred for the man himself, and he begins to actively work towards his destruction. The moment where Ford eventually shoots Jesse is the hinge on which the film turns. It reverberates and echoes through the story, both after it occurs, but also before. When Wood Height returns to the Ford home to kill another member of the gang who's hiding there, he is transformed. Before he was light-haired, clean-shaven, baby-faced, insecure, and childish. He returns with a full beard, his hair much darker, and his manner has changed. It's heavier, more weary, and more assured. It seems like he has taken on aspects of both Jesse's look and personality, as though he is possessed by the man's spirit. After a gunfight, he turns his back on Robert, not seeing him as a threat, even though he's armed, and he goes to execute his quarry. Robert shoots him in the back of the head, in the same way he will later kill Jesse. He's even firing from the same low angle. When he performs the act, he moves thoughtlessly, robotically, as if in a daze. It's like something else is controlling his actions. Only afterwards does he seem to realize what he's done, and then the emotions come rushing in. Robert clearly feels that by shooting Wood Height, he has come closer to the outlaw he aspires to be. We see him posing afterwards, twirling his pistol. Yet his family and friends are unimpressed, and he cannot claim credit for the deed, as Jesse will kill him. He is again denied the recognition he feels that he deserves, which of course foreshadows what will happen in the aftermath of Jesse's assassination.